There's another modern phenomenon that is suppressing society's self-corrective mechanism. That's making it harder for us to restore ourselves. In the past, when societies are threatened by moral chaos, the overall social costs of licentiousness and irresponsible personal conduct become so high that society ultimately recoils and reevaluates the path it is on. But today, in the face of all the increasing pathologies, instead of addressing the underlying cause, we have cast the state in the role of the alleviator of bad consequences. We call on the state to mitigate the social costs of personal misconduct and irresponsibility. So the reaction to growing illegitimacy is not sexual responsibility, but abortion. The reaction to drug addiction is safe injection sites. The solution to the breakdown of the family is for the state to set itself up as an ersatz husband for the single mother and an ersatz father for the children. The call comes for more and more social programs to deal with this wreckage. And while we think we're solving problems, we are underwriting them. We start with an untrammeled freedom, and we end up as dependents of a coercive state on whom we depend. Interestingly, this idea of the state as the alleviator of bad consequences has given rise to a new moral system that goes hand in hand with the secularization of society. It can be called the system of macro-morality, and in some ways it is an inversion of Christian morality. Christianity teaches a micro-morality. We transform the world by focusing on our own personal morality and transformation.
I would just like to shout out from the audience, you mean like Donald Trump does? You mean the way he focuses on his personal morality to transform society around him when he names people who have said he raped them and mocks them publicly from the office of the president? Is this what you're talking about? Or are you talking about the conservative Roman Catholic Church that transformed morality around them by covering up the molesting and the rape of tens of thousands of children around the world? Or what was happening in Ireland before people began to repudiate the power of the Roman Catholic Church there, where people were taken away as children from their mothers if they were illegitimate and put in homes where the nuns beat them, and when they finally died because they failed to thrive, in other words, were starved to death, they were thrown into the sewage behind the orphanage? Is that what you're talking about? Come on, William Barr. If we're going to start talking about personal morality transforming the world, the utter failure of the Roman Catholic Church you belong to, the utter failure of the evangelical movement, which has been the harbinger of racism throughout the South and the defender of apartheid in South Africa, comes to mind. Again, let's all be honest. The left also fails. There's a nugget of truth in what you talk about in terms of intolerance on campus and so forth and so on. But that's a human problem. It's not a secular problem. Just like the problems of the Roman Catholic Church are a human problem. They're not a religious problem. What comes first? The problem is you never define your terms. The truth of the matter is the human condition is one that is imperfect. And so whether you're a religious person or a secular person, you will be imperfect. Whether the state is trying to solve problems or the church is trying to solve problems, it will be imperfect. But we are all in the same boat. So to divide us into religious, Christian, authoritarian, white, black, fascist, libertarian, and so forth and so on is not the way to look at the human race. We are all in the same prediction. The point is, do we try to dominate others, or do we try to cooperate with them? That is the bottom line. That is the question, whatever the label you're putting on it. So enough of this categorization of religion and secularism as if they are opposing forces. We are human beings, and our problems stem from that. Everything else is simply a label we use to describe that problem.